Riz Digga says, you look larger today.
Who?
Thanks.
That's awfully undirect. You?
My weight is the same, but I appreciate that.
He's just got those childbearing hips.
That's what it is. It's my giant news lady hips that make me look this way. All right, let's get to something that people wanted to see. They've been asking me about it all weekend, and that is Joe Rogan kind of breaking his silence about Brendan Schaub. Now, remember, Joe Rogan is kind of responsible for Brendan.
Schaub's existence as is currently the thing is really due to Rogan. Like, he started getting him in on the UFC stuff. And then...
No. You got your Brendan mixed up. Brendan was a UFC fighter first.
No. But I'm saying he brought him in on the announcing side of it and started giving him a taste for that. And then he's like, you should do comedy.
He hooked him up on the comedy side.
Oh,
Brendan got hooked in after he started the podcast and the comedy. Then Showtime wanted him to do analysis on MMA after the fighter and the kid got big.
Okay, so I do have it backwards.
Brendan, basically Joe Rogan went on Brendan's show and told him that he has to be done fighting because he fucking stinks at it. Like, you're no good. These guys are going to kick the shit out of you. You're going to get brain damage. I mean, he just railroaded him on his own show. Like, came on as a guest of Brendan's show and just steamrolled him.
I'm really regretting having not seen this.
So, you haven't seen that clip?
No.
Oh, God, it's long. I think if we go on YouTube right now and we find the clips of Joe Rogan tells Schaub to retire. I think it's a little too long for us to really dive in. Yeah,
I'll watch it later.
Yeah, I would say Joe Rogan talks tough with Brendan Schaub. Here's a clip of it.
Things because
here's
the way you were flattened out like that, you were just keeping your hands up by your head.
I won't play the video just in case because there's like UFC stuff on there and shit. So.
But when there's no damage, I think you have to take it case by case. I'm like, homeboy's talking to me while defending himself. Yeah. It's not like I was eating punches.
Well, he was hitting you.
100%.
They're showing clips of it. He's absolutely, the guy's mounted his back and is punching him in the fucking head.
But he said, homeboy's talking to me while he's defending himself.
He's talking about himself, like if you're the referee. Yeah.
Flattened out. A lot of things look bad about that fight. You were lunging with like your punches instead of getting there with your footwork and then launching things from the proper distance. You were like really reaching and loading up. You looked very stiff. You looked very stiff. You didn't look fluid. You just didn't look good. It didn't look like you were well prepared. Like your movement just didn't look like an elite fighter's movement.
You're in shape.
What you were doing was very, very stiff. It was very you stand, not your commitment to training. Not your commitment to training.
This is kind of where Joe Rogan had to take in our eyes, had to claim Brendan Schaub at this point, where he's basically telling him, you suck at fighting, you need to quit, you need to be done. You should, and then he says, you should pursue comedy, you should pursue podcasting, you should do all that. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, Joe. So now Brendan's catching all this shit for the Bobby Lee stuff, for Gringo Poppy, for his comedy specials, all of it. Like, Brendan Schaub is all over the place in a negative way. His show's numbers are dropping. His co-host is a liability. There's just all kinds of shit going on.
Rogan's mostly just been silent, though. He hasn't picked a side on this at all.
Right. Rogan's been mostly quiet throughout the whole thing. Well, he finally said something about it directly. And I know that like a lot of people made a huge deal of this. I'll give you my take before we play it. I don't think this is that big of a deal, but a lot of people are making a big deal about it, so we'll play it. Maybe you can tell me where this is a huge thing. Rogan has stayed quiet out of respect to Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub, but he has dropped a few hints here and there where he goes, where he basically lets it be known that he's not okay with what these guys are doing. Like he's been slowly removing the Rogan shield of protection. If you will. This next one, this is kind of blood in the water for the people who really hate Brendan. I'm not talking about like our show who finds it funny and makes fun of him. Like there's like the Reddit crowd and shit like that. Those demons, those cancers, like they fucking hate the guy. Here's what ruins the internet for me. We like to play people and make fun of them. And we were talking about this with the Opie thing. We're like, yeah, I cracked a few jokes about Opie. But it doesn't mean I dislike Opie. I'm fucking with a guy.
We shit on everybody.
Right, we just kind of, we fuck with people. You know, it's not like these shows, and you can name whichever show you want, that just like, they go after people. They fucking hammer them, and it's personal. And it just seems like really unnecessarily deep, and they're invested in it. So when when we do it, we're like, oh no, I'd fuck with this guy. And then if he asked me about it, I'd be like, oh yeah, we fucked with you a little bit. We poked fun at you a little. It's not like we're personally invested in it. But there's a lot of these people who just like Brendan is like hating him and watching him get destroyed is their whole world, which is a little odd.
I can understand that to a small extent, though. I think anyone that watched Gringo Poppy has a right to feel personally.
Did you personally hate him for the time wasted?
I watched it, and I don't think I'll ever forgive him.
Well, at least it was only 25 minutes out of your life.
Yeah,
it's a lot of shit to pack into 25 minutes.
But when you have to sit there and honestly ask yourself, if I had to choose, never wake up another day or watch those 25 minutes again.
So Rogan
Sorry, Ivy.
Rogan now kind of fully removes his protection from Schaub in this clip with him and
depends. I
Whitney
just
Cummings. Again, I want to be careful with putting Rogan video up there because Bent Pixels, the company that handles his stuff, they like to strike shit. So we'll just play the audio
And before
here.
we do that, I just got to say, is this clip going to make me finally like Whitney Cummings? Because I've never really... I don't hate her.
Right.
I just was like, eh.
I don't believe Whitney Cummings is there to be hated or liked. I feel like she's just mush.
Yeah,
She just kind of exists. I don't understand anybody hating Whitney Cummings either.
I just don't get her career always continuing.
She has a vagina. There.
That easy? God
Yeah.
damn it.
Actually, you know what's great for Whitney Cummings? Amy Schumer. Because you can watch Amy Schumer and go, oh, she's fucking awful. And then you watch Whitney Cummings and you go, oh, she's not her.
Yeah.
It works out. Or if you do it vice versa, you go, oh, it's Whitney Cummings. She's kind of middle of the road. And then you watch Amy Schumer, you go, oh, God, she's Carlin compared to her.
Wait, it gets worse.
Yeah. So let's watch Rogan finally address Brendan Schaub.
It depends. I just watched this. Have you seen this documentary, The Most Hated Man on the Internet?
No.
Fuck it, I'll put the clip up.
Did you hear?
Who is the most hated man on the internet?
His name is Hunter Moore. I don't
Brendan
know.
Schaub just went like this.
I got to tell you, though, that feels like Joe has had that on his shoulders for a while.
That Brendan's been the most hated, and it's kind of come back on him because people are like, hey, you started this?
He kind of wanted to shit on Brendan for a while now. Because, look, Joe's been a professional comedian for decades. He knows that special was horseshit. Yeah. He knows it was really bad. And he's being a good friend. You know, people in situations like this are like, oh, why don't you be a friend and get your boys back? It's like, sometimes not saying anything is getting your boys back.
And sometimes being a friend is like, dude, you really ate shit on that one.
Wouldn't it be funny if Joe like created Brendan's comedy and podcasting career by shitting on his UFC career, and now he sends him into like horticulture or gardening or dentistry by bringing him on to shit on his comedy and podcasting career? I'm like, look, man, you're not good at this either. Like every 5 years, we'll have Joe Rogan and Brendan Schaub do a sit down where Joe Rogan makes Brendan pick a new profession each time.
They're going to just get like a little wheel out and they just spin it?
And they're just like, here's what you're going to do next, Brandon. Garbage man. Fuck. 5 years from now, he's like, you get garbage juice all over the street. People complain about the smell. It's really bad.
Turns out you're not good with handling bags.
Yeah, it's, you know what we're going to have you do? You can't fuck this one up. Elementary school teacher in Florida. And then he goes, elementary school teacher in Florida. He's like, 5 years later, Joe has him on his show. He goes, you can't talk to the kids about cornholing guys in Florida. It's against the law, Brendan. You're going to jail now.
I remember this guy.
And then Whitney bails. She just leaves.
Did she bail or did she go down under the table?
She went under the table.
I don't even want to get caught in these crosshairs.
Look, he is having way too much fun with that throwaway Brendan Schaub line for that not to be something cathartic for him. That meant something more than what it was.
That's somebody laughing at a joke that he made for himself. The rest of us can enjoy it, but we were not the audience.
That's Joe Rogan going, I've wanted to say this about this fucking guy forever, And finally, I get a chance. Finally, Whitney gave me the opening to do what I wanted to do about this fucking guy. Thank you very much to Grand Obson with a $5 super chat. He says, you guys are awesome. This is my first ever donation on YouTube. Thanks for the laughs. Wow. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. 355.
Yeah, that's a weird one. We almost went up a decimal point there for a minute.
355 away from our goal. The PayPal link is pinned at the top of the page. If you'd like to chip in, we've got to hit that goal to break even. So if you throw in at PayPal, or you decide to throw in some super chats or become a member, that would be great. Aaronism is just another of many lies, but at least Aaron Stottle is honest about his lies and proud of them too. Okay, Dave Dowling. Dave Dowling. Good Dave. That was, Michael B says that was off his soul joke. Yeah, that was deep in there. But you see what I mean? Like, everyone this weekend was like, oh, Joe finally roasts Brendan Schaub.
That was a jab.
That was a jab. Yeah, that was light. That was Joe's way of saying, look, he's still my friend.
But let's be honest, he's done some shitty stuff and kind of...
That was his way of going, that's my guy, but fuck him. He's been really shitty lately. That's about what that was.
That's my guy, but he's followed by a pack of homeless cats.
What Joe Rogan did there was, again, being a friend. He could have went harder. He could have talked about how shitty his special was, but he just made a little Brendan's hated on the internet joke. That's it. And done. Down the hatch. Over.